Lesson 1, Advanced Formatting. Spacing. The vertical spacing between lines and between paragraphs can be adjusted by going to the Home tab, Paragraph Group, and then clicking on Line and Paragraph Spacing button here, and then choosing Line Spacing Options. This will bring up the paragraph dialog box. And another way to do it is by clicking the dialog box launcher here. The spacing section down at the bottom consists of the following. Before, set the fixed spacing in points before the current paragraph. So example, let's say you have a paragraph. And then you have another paragraph below it. When you add spacing before it, and then go back to your dialog box launcher, say you want to add spacing before that paragraph, you would increase your points, and you can see below in the preview pane the effect. It's increasing the spacing in between the paragraphs. So the spacing before increased. And likewise, if you want to do it after, say, the first paragraph, try that again. You can see that the spacing after the first paragraph was increased. So that's what the before and after is for. It's just increasing the spacing in between your paragraphs, either the before or after. The line spacing is used to increase or decrease the spacing in between your lines within the paragraph. For example, single means that there'll be no lines of spacing between the lines that are added. So for example, if I have another line within the paragraph, single means that, as you can see within that paragraph, the lines have no spacing. It just goes from one line to the other. However, if I change it to, say, 1.5 lines, that's 0.5 lines of spacing in between. And by the way, the spacing size is based on the font within the paragraph. So right now it's at 11, Calibri body 11. So it'll be half of that, so approximately 5.5 point when I have it at 5. When I have it at 1.5 lines. When I increase it to double space, that means it's using the full 11 points or whatever other font size you have within that paragraph. And if I go to at least, then I can specify a minimum value for the spacing. And if I use exactly, then it would always be exactly the amount specified. Multiple is used to enter a multiple of single spacing sizes. For example, if I choose 2, that means double space, and 1.5 is the same thing as the 1.5 lines. So it's just a multiple used for spacing. And by the way, for paragraphs with the multiple font sizes, So say you have one sentence or one row within the paragraph is 11, but then you have, say, 12 on this one, or 14. The spacing is always going to be based on the size of the largest font. And also, I want to briefly mention that line and paragraph spacing options are cumulative with each other. So say your paragraph's font size is 10 points. If you add double spacing to your paragraph's lines and then add 5 points after the paragraph, your total spacing in between the paragraphs, between the first paragraph and the next paragraph, will be 15. The 10 based on the double spacing between the lines, and then another 5 since you added the 5 points after the paragraph. Quick spacing selection is when you click on the line and paragraph spacing button, you have these options here, and when you scroll over them you can see below the effect, and then you can just click it on to apply the effect. And you can also, of course, use these buttons here to remove spacing before or add spacing after. Styles Organizer. When you want to use a specific style that is found in one document, you normally would have to save the style to a template for use in your other documents. However, another way to use a style from another document is to use a Styles Organizer. With a Styles Organizer, you can copy styles between document and template, and even template to template and document to document. To open the organizer, go to Home, Styles. Click on the dialog box launcher. Then click on the Manage Styles button at the bottom. In the Manage Styles dialog box displayed here, click on Import Export button below, which will bring up your organizer dialog box. By default, the area on the left will display all the styles used by the open document, while the styles in the normal template will be displayed on the right. To copy the style from the document to the template, click on the style on the left so that it is highlighted. Click the copy button here, which will add the style to the box on the right. So another example, I'll click on Table Normal and then copy, and Word is asking me if I want to overwrite the existing style entry Table Normal. So if there's another style that is listed in the To Normal box, you'll have to overwrite it if it has the same name. Once you've added all your styles to the To Normal box, click Close. Then, to select which files to work with, including any combination of document template, let me go back to the organizer. You would click Close File here. And then go to Open File. And then just choose the file you want to apply, that you want to work with. Then you would click Close. But for now I'm going to go back here and open up my file. And by the way, each time you change your file, the latest file change will become the one which you are going to copy the style to, as indicated by the arrow direction in the copy button. Links group. You can use the different items located at Insert tab, Links group, to create references to current or different documents, including specific areas and items within the document. Setting up your links will give your readers immediate access to reference information and data as they click the link attached to the text or graphic you have chosen. The three items within the links group include the hyperlink, bookmark, and cross-reference. So I'm just going to briefly set up a hyperlink by clicking on the hyperlink button. Text to display, it can be anything, but I'm just going to type in link, and then address is your web address you want to send your reader to. So you can see that when I set up the hyperlink, it's in blue and then it's underlined. You can set up a hyperlink when you want to link to a section within a document, a website, or an email address. And when a reader would click on the email address link, typically the email client, say Microsoft Outlook, would pop up with that email address. So the reader can quickly just click on the link and then it'll pull up the client so that they can send the email to that email address. To go to the link, you notice that you can't click it on like you normally would a link. You have to hold down your control key so that your mouse cursor turns into the hand. Then you click on, while you hold down the control key, click on the link, and that will bring up whatever address, whatever website that you specified in your hyperlink. To remove your hyperlink, right click it and then choose remove hyperlink to make it normal text. And of course you can make a hyperlink out of any given text. So say I want to create a hyperlink out of this text, I would just highlight it and then go to hyperlink and then add the address here. And you can even do it for a picture as well. So I'm just going to quickly insert a picture. And then click it on and then go back to insert hyperlink, and then if I add my site here, and then if I want to go to that link, I just scroll over the picture, hold down my control key until the cursor turns into that hand, and then click it on my left mouse button. And of course you can edit your hyperlink anytime by just clicking on the picture or the selected text and then going back to insert hyperlink, and then you can change your address. So I'm going to go back really quick to hyperlink and discuss some of the items found in the insert hyperlink dialog box. Text to display is the selected text, which when a reader will click it on will bring them to the website or email address link. Screen tip here on the right will act as a tooltip. So for example, you can type in something like this, some type of a helpful comment, so that when somebody scrolls over that link, they'll be able to, this screen tip will be displayed, and it'll give them a helpful hint of what the link is about. So again, I'm going to type in weather.com. And you can see when I scroll over, it says go to this link to view the forecast. So that's that screen tip that I added. The link to on the left is the type of link you're setting up. So you can use an existing file or web page. You can select place in the document, which will, when they click on the link, will jump to that section within your document. You can choose create new document to link to a document that hasn't been created yet, or you can click on email address to display, to set up a link to an email address that when somebody clicks it, the default email client will pop up with the email address in the toolbox displayed. So once you've chosen your text to display and then your optional screen tip and the link to item on the left, and either your address or your email address, and then either your website address or email address below here, you click on OK. And again, if you wanted to edit your hyperlink, you just select your hyperlink, and you can either right click it and go to edit hyperlink, or just go back to insert hyperlink and then make your changes and then hit OK. Using bookmarks. Hyperlinks are great when you want to reference entire documents, but if you want to reference just a specific area or item in the document, such as a paragraph or word, you should use a bookmark. To create a bookmark, set your insertion point at the point of the page where you want the bookmark inserted. So say you want to insert it down here. Or of course you can select the object, such as a picture, where you want to insert the bookmark near. Then just go to the Insert tab, Links Group, Bookmark. Enter a name for the bookmark. And by the way, don't use any spaces. So if you have a two-worded name for your bookmark, say I want to name it bottom of page, I would either name it all one word, or what I would do is I would use the underscore character. And then just click add. Then you would use the go to command to jump to specific bookmarks in the document. So just go to insert links and then bookmark, which brings up your bookmark dialog box, and then you just use the go to. So if my cursor, if my insertion point is blinking up here, but I want to go down to another section, I'd just click on that bookmark by going to go to. And you can see that the insertion point jumped down to that section. So again, if I'm over here, say, and then I want to go down to that section very quickly, just click on bookmark and either click on the go to button or double click the bookmark, which brought me to that section. It helps when you want to navigate quickly to a section within the document. And by the way, another way to get to go to is to go to Home, the Home tab, and then Replace, found under Editing, and then click on Go To. And again, the Go To is used to help navigate to different sections or bookmarks or lines. So in this case, you would just click on Bookmark and then the name of the bookmark you want to go to, and then click Go To. So again, the Go To section of the Find Replace dialog box is very useful to navigate around in your document. You can also use a hyperlink to navigate to a bookmark. Go to Insert, Bookmarks, Hyperlink, and then click on Place in this document. Click on the bookmark, and then if you want, you can change the text to display. Click OK. So, for example, say I want to put the hyperlink at the top of the page so that when somebody clicks it on, they'll be brought to the bookmark at the bottom. Again, I would just go to Insert, Links Group, Hyperlink, click on the bookmark, and then say I want to change it to bottom for the text to display. Click OK. And then when I click on Control key, hold it down and then click the left mouse button, it'll bring me to that bookmark at the bottom. Using cross-references. Cross-references are used to supply the text used to describe the item being linked to. For example, if you created a hyperlink to a bookmark and then put see page 16, so something like this, as a text display for the link, you may have to go back and edit the page number based off the fact that the bookmark may no longer be on page 16. So you have a hyperlink based on that text. And say it takes you to page 16, whatever bookmark that is. But if the link, if the page number changed from 16 to something else, you should use a cross-reference instead, so that it's the link, the page number is always being referenced. So whatever is being referenced is always the correct page number. So for example, if the page number changed, the link would change if the page number changed, since it's a cross-reference to that page. Since the cross-reference changes, this link will change when somebody clicks it on. They don't have to worry about going back and adding the hyperlinks. To create a cross-reference, add any text you want just before the reference as needed. Then set the insertion point at where you want to insert the cross-reference to your item you created. So, for example, go to Insert, and then Links Group, Cross-Reference, and then say you want to select your bookmark. So going forward, if this bookmark changes, it's always cross-referenced, so you don't have to worry about updating the link. Just really briefly, the reference type is this drop down here, and that is the type of reference. It's either the numbered item, heading, bookmark, whatever it is you want to reference to. And then you have an Insert Reference To drop down. Text, page number, paragraph number, no context, paragraph number, full context, and above and below. So this is a really quick example here. Say you have a chapter heading you want to reference. Say you have chapter 1, and then you can use your style to give it a heading 1 style. Say you want to view your header and footer, which you can quickly do by just double clicking at the top of the header to display your header. Say you want in your header the chapter, so you would go to Reference tab and then cross-reference, and then say you want that heading, and then it'll list all the headings. This is a heading 1. So again, you just go back to reference, cross-reference under the captions group, and then choose that reference type, which in this case was heading, and then you can insert as a hyperlink if you want. Somebody clicks it on, it will go to that. Or if you don't want it, obviously you just uncheck it and then just click on. So that's just one example of why you would want to use cross-reference. So say you change your chapter. Let's say now it's chapter 2. You can see that here it's changed to chapter 2. So you just insert it and then remove the old one. So there are many ways in which you can use a cross-reference, which very handy way to reference an item in your document. Text boxes. You can use a text box to place a text in certain areas above and below the main text of the page of your document. Place inside box styles in various ways. To insert a text box, go to the Insert tab, Text, Group, Text Box button. Choose one of these templates displayed. Then simply just click and drag on it to move it to the location you want, and then use one of these corner or side to resize it, or to rotate it, use this green circle here, and then you just type into your box whatever you want. You can also create your own by going to Insert and then Text, Text Box, Draw Text Box. You see your mouse cursor turn into this black cross, this crosshair. Just click and drag where you want your text box. And also you can click and drag for the size. So for example, click and drag for a bigger text box. Just drag outwards or inwards for a smaller one, and then scroll over, click it on, and then scroll over until you see the four-headed arrow, and then click and drag to move your text box around to wherever, to the location that you want. Text box formatting. Clicking on your text box will display the Format contextual tab on the right. Some of the groups on the Format tab include inserting shapes, which allow you to insert various shapes into your text boxes or edit the shape of your text box. Shape styles, which give additional style effects to your text box, including its border and fill. Word art styles, which allow you to alter the look of the text display inside the text box. Text, which allows you to alter the alignment of your text vertically and horizontally. And you can also create a link item to link your text box together. Arrange. This tab deals with where you want your text box placed on the page and how you want the surrounding text to be displayed near the text box. You can click on the position here and then more layout options, which brings up the layout dialog box, which presents you with more layout options. Creating linked text box. To create a linked set of text boxes, create the text boxes that are to be linked. So I've created one. Now I'm going to create one more. So now I have two, one in the corner and one down here. Click the first text box so that is selected. And then click Create Link on the Format Text group. And you can see that the mouse cursor turns into like a picture icon. Hover it over the second text box, which changes the look of the icon from standing to pouring, like the picture's pouring into the text box. Click the second text box. Begin typing in the first text box. Any overflow will now appear in the second text box. So if I type enough of these, you'll see it starts coming over here. Building blocks. Building blocks, also known as auto text, contain saved, formatted pieces of a document including text, graphics, and fields. Unlike items saved to the clipboard, which are only stored in memory and are lost when the document is closed, building blocks are saved to templates and are thereafter available for your other documents going forward. To create a building block, highlight all the items you want to include in your building block. Go to Insert, Text, Quick Parts, save selection to Quick Part Gallery. The Create New Building Block dialog box is displayed. Here you can give your building block a name. Choose the gallery where you want this building block to be available going forward. Add a new category if you want to separate building blocks into different categories for organizational purposes. Give the building block a description here. Save in allows you to save your building block to a template. You can select where you want your building block to be inserted when you use it, either at the insertion point or its own paragraph or page under Options. Click OK when done. Inserting, editing, and deleting building blocks using the Building Blocks Organizer. You can use the Building Blocks Organizer to insert, edit, and delete building blocks by navigating to Insert Text, Quick Parts, Building Blocks Organizer. So, Insert, Text, Quick Parts, Building Blocks Organizer. To insert your building block, just select your building block from the list here. So the one I just made was named Sunny, and this is currently sorted in alphabetical ascending order. So if I go down the list, I'll find Sunny at the end of the S section. And as you can see, there are other pre-built building blocks that come with Word already in the list. And you can see on the right, you can see a quick preview when you click on the building block. Click Insert to insert it at the insertion point in this case. So if I want to go and insert it down here, I just go back to my building block organizer, click Insert, and there it is. So this would be very useful when you have formatted sections of text and you want to quickly apply it back to your document. So instead of using the clipboard, when you copy an item, you can see that it gets added to the clipboard, but after you close your document, it gets cleared from the clipboard. So if you want to use it going forward to save the formatting and what was copied or cut, then you would use your building block. To edit your building block, again, just go back to Insert, Text, Quick Parts, Building Blocks Organizer. Click on your building block and then Edit Properties. You can change the name or any of the other properties and then click OK. And of course, if you want to delete, you can, if you would like to delete, just click on your building block and then click Delete button. Adding a drop cap. Use the drop cap item to create a large first letter in place of the first letter of your paragraph. So for example, select the first letter and then go to Insert, Text, Drop Cap. And then scroll over the different options here, or go to Drop Cap Options to choose some more options. And of course, you can resize your drop cap and change the color or the background. Object insertion. When talking about inserting objects, it means importing content created from other applications. You could add other Word documents, Access databases, or Excel-based charts. And you can further add content created by other applications that support object linking and embedding. Linked objects. Linked objects contain the following characteristics. Information in the Word object is updated when the data from the original source file is updated. That's called a dynamic link. Another characteristic of a linked object is it adds less file size to the Word file as the data itself is linked. So you go to Insert and then over to Text Group, you'll see the object drop down here. And the other type of object you'll find in this object dialog box is the embedded object, which a few of the characteristics include the original source data is embedded into the document, which means that the data is permanently added to the Word file and is displayed no matter what the access is to the original file. However, the data is never updated when the original source data is updated. So the linked object, which I previously discussed, is actually linked to a source file outside of this document. And whenever that's changed, since it's linked, it'll change within Word. But the embedded object is actually embedded into the Word document and will not change if the source file is changed. And since that's the case, since it's embedded right into the document, it's more file size, adding more file size to the Word file, since it's permanently stored there as opposed to the linked object. So to insert your object, just click into the document at the location you want to insert it, and then go to Insert tab, Text Group, Object, and then Object. And then you can either create a new object from the Create New tab or go to Create from File and browse to your file. Check Link to File if you want to create a link. So that would create a linked object. Leave it unchecked to embed it. And you can click on Display as Icon, which I'll show you what that does in a moment. Click OK. When you double click on your embedded, in this case, object, it'll bring up your object in a new window. Another example is if you want to maybe embed a PDF file. Go back to Object and Create from File, browse to your file, and then Display as Icon. Typically embedded objects are displayed as icon on your in your document, and you can change your icon if you wanted. Click OK. So now you have a link, an embedded link within your document to that file. And just like the picture, when you double click it, it'll bring up your file in a new window. And you can insert only part of an object if you want. To do so, open up the application such as Excel, where the information you want to show in Word is located. So I'm going to open up my Excel file. Type in 1234 into the cell. Copy the information by hitting copy on the clipboard, which again puts it into the clipboard. You can see it right there. And then just go to your Word document, Home tab, Paste, Paste Special. Select either Paste or Paste Link. Paste or Paste Link. And then choose the type of object you were embedding or linking. In this case, Microsoft Excel Worksheet Object. Click OK. And you can see that the cell is copied into your document. And that's the end of Lesson 1.